ladies and gentlemen. Bob Keel here. Tonight, we have more news on the Zodiac killer.
Hey, fellas, hold it down. I want to hear this.
He writes another letter to the paper.
All right, everybody. We are live with Frightmare HQ here on a beautiful post-Halloween Sunday morning. I'm here today with my co-host, Charles Doze.
What's up, Loyd?
What is up, buddy? And then right below us, we have the Arrow team. Louise Buckler. How are you, Louise?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. It's good to see you this morning.
Nice to see you guys too.
And then right below Charles, we have Daniel Perry from Arrow Video. Also, Daniel, this is your first appearance on Frightmare HQ. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. I nearly completely muted myself, which is a great start as well. So Zoom mess ups 101 there. So yeah, no, I'm glad to be here, guys.
That's all right. We're used to little issues here, technical issues, so we just kind of roll with it and make it part of the show.
We don't know about technical things here. We just know about movies. We just make everything up else as we go along. So
that's right.
That's it.
Well, it's been good. How was your Halloween before we get started? Did anybody do anything fun?
Well, apart from our entire country being told that we're all going into a national lockdown, apart from that, which in itself was probably the most terrifying thing of the 31st yesterday. But no, I've got a 2-year-old daughter, so most of the time is kind of spread around her kind of day to day, really. So, but managed to kind of watch the remake of Halloween, which I hadn't actually seen yet, the 2018 one. So,
okay.
So yeah, that was quite a fun way to spend Halloween in the most ironically cliche Halloween way I possibly could. So yeah, it's quite cool.
Awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
You got a great background.
Yeah, I just watched a bunch of films.
Oh, you watched a bunch of films?
Yeah, ate some pizza. It was great. Very rainy here, so there wasn't really much we could do. And obviously, yeah, bombshells in the evening.
Yeah, so that's what happened to you guys?
Louise has to show us her shirt, though. We were just admiring her shirt. She has to show everybody else her shirt,
Do
too.
I have to stand up?
No, you can just show everybody. Everybody loves that movie here. There it is, guys.
Oh, nice. Very
our favorite
cool.
movie. That's like one of our unofficial movies of this show. It's Necromantic.
Well, if anyone wants to buy it, our friend's company, Last Shirt on the Left, sell it. So if you Google them, you can buy one. They got Necromantic 2 as well, so you can get the duo.
Yeah.
Get the necromantic wardrobe. Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
Freak out your friends and neighbors and family. Wear the necromantic clothesline.
I'm telling you, it's Sunday morning. Gather the family round, even if it's on a Zoom call. Pull out both necromantic films. It's the perfect film for every age.
It is.
It's fantastic.
Christmas is coming up. It's a good gift for young people and old people alike. So.
I spend a lot of Christmases watching that on Christmas Day with my family as often as I can. You have
a 2-year-old daughter, so 2-year-old daughter is a perfect age.
I mean, if anything, she's kind of getting a bit bored of watching it now. She's seen it so many times. It's a bit too much, but yeah, no, Necromantic, great couple of films.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
go ahead, Charles. Yeah, let it.
No, I was saying they've got a lot of stuff going on, guys. Arrow's been working overtime, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
They keep us busy.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. No, it's I mean, yeah, across the board, it's with everything that's kind of happened this year, it's which has been kind of crazy for so many reasons, as you can imagine. And not just obviously in the world and people's personal lives and everything else, but also, as a company having to kind of adapt to all of that as well, like what we do. It's been crazy. Like, and I think it's really, for me, I mean, again, we'll obviously get into it with the Arrow service, but it's, that's just been kind of solidly working on that kind of since kind of May, June, something like that. So, and it's just been this thing, and it's just this like to say now that like it's 1st of November is just so weird to me. Like it's just been relentless. But then that's just on my part that I look after. Obviously, Arrows, we've just been doing everything, right, Lou?
Yeah, we've been busy. So obviously, yeah, we're launching the new streaming service. We've dipped our toe into 4K. We've got all our box sets and kind of general Blu-rays coming out, and we've had a few kind of sales in between. So yeah, there hasn't been a dull moment, and I think yeah, we're in a really great position that we are still available to do all of these things, and we're really lucky that we have been able to work throughout.
Yeah, yeah.
I-
And did you
I'm
say?
very-
And you said that you guys are going on lockdown again?
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
that
just
was
30
announced
days,
that
right?
last night.
They announced that yesterday. So there's been kind of a bit this is perfect kind of horror horror arrow to get into. Yeah, no, we basically, there've been a lot of rumors about it. We've been trying these regional lockdowns across the UK, which are just absolutely pointless. But then and anyway, so it then kind of said as of last night, what was rumored to happen, or announced on Monday, was the whole country's going into kind of a strict lockdown. So loads of businesses closing down, lots more stuff kind of shutting down as well. So, and that's going to be for at least the next kind of month. So it's kind of crazy times. You're kind of probably speaking to two people right now, still very much reeling from that information. It's crazy.
Is that delaying stuff for you guys? Because I can imagine some stuff you guys can do from home, but when it comes to, getting production of discs out and stuff like that, that's got to be like a actual business doing it, right?
Yeah, at the moment we should be all right, but it does all depend on how businesses can kind of restructure. We were quite lucky that we worked quite far ahead, so it didn't affect us too much, but it might lead to a few delays here and there. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I can tell you guys the one thing it doesn't affect is the streaming service, really, because you don't need much of the streaming service. But I can tell you guys, this launched last month, and it was an ask for a long time to have a standalone streaming service from you guys, because I know a lot of our watchers had always asked that too during these, and everybody was excited when we finally, and you guys finally announced it, and we talked about it too. And I can tell you guys from what they brought up is there's a lot of stuff coming on in November for the streaming. Isn't that right?
Oh, definitely. I'd say it's been a long time coming. Obviously, we've had the Arrow Video channel in the UK now for about 3.5 years, and then we launched a version of that in the US last year on Apple TV channels. And I think a lot of it's just been developing and building on what we've learned over that time. We're not a streaming service kind of first and foremost. So that it's kind of how things are slightly different for us than some of the other kind of services out there. And so, we've kind of approached it very differently. And I think that's kind of the key part, is just, learning from what we do anyway in the rest of the business. And I think that's been the most important part now. And I think also getting to the point where we're able to kind of get, such amazing kind of films and bonus stuff and collections and present them in a really different way as well. With still that kind of, that love and attention and that kind of appreciation for the films. We're still kind of trying to do, it's all part of the same process. You know what I mean? Like the process we look at with our Blu-rays, it's a long process being made by a lot of incredible people and giving it that love and attention. And I think that's the key thing that we want to try and present with Arrow is, it's that authenticity that people, we're not going to BS anyone on. I think that's what's so cool about what we do is, I look after the digital part of Arrow's business. And, it is that thing where we do have a lot of very passionate kind of Blu-ray buyers. And I think it's important to say, and this isn't some sort of mantra coming in from the company, but we're a business that don't operate in the sense of one of those things is versus another. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's an approach in the business of, it's physical versus digital, and it's cinema versus home end. And we don't really see it like that. It's kind of down to choice. If you want to buy, this incredible, like, exclusive limited edition, you're never going to need to buy another version again, kind of, Blu-ray, it's right there. But you know what we've also got for all these people that are, maybe, new to Blu-ray or new to this genre or new to these kind of spaces, is being able to kind of approach these films in exactly the same kind of way. And I think that's been, a massive kind of learning curve for us, but it just means that we get to, keep a lot of that kind of history of what we do and how we do it, but adapt it into this space, into something quite new. Arrow is, the service is kind of, it's a little bit Arrow Video, but it's also a little bit of its own thing. And we've got a lot of freedom there to do some really cool stuff. So November with the El Duce tapes in particular, as our kind of key, new release title as part of our kind of new cult kind of section, is just, every month. And I don't think people probably know or appreciate this, but when we're launching these new films like the El Duce tapes, it's like, Lou, me, Julie and the team and everyone else here, we're really excited about putting these films out. This isn't just throwing these films on because, hey, we need a new release film. These are films that we're picking, we're the films that we're taking a look at. And, the Deeper You Dig from the Addams Family, back in October, Zombie for Sale this summer, and even things like Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway. We're taking the time in the same way we did with, so many of these re-releases to bring stuff like the El Duce tapes, which is something really different, but very much fits in with what we do.
Should we go ahead and play the Arrow teaser? The November Ban That Channel. Is that what it was called?
Ban
the Sick Filth.
Yeah.
Ban This Sick Filth. There we go. Let's go ahead and play that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the El Duce tapes.
Do you like to go fishing?
Some people call them jellyfish.
Don't believe anything we show them.
I am the murderer.
I poke out their eyes, stick a firecracker up their ass, and blow them up.
Fishermen who have mysteriously disappeared over the past 5 days.
It's trash.
Male chauvinism rock.
Just fuck this.
All right,
I'm pretty sure that's how my mind operates all the time. That's like what's going on in my brain, like every second of every day. It looks just like that.
I love that trailer so much. You've no idea. Like, it's that seeing those kind of things just out of context when you're not kind of pulling these things together from really stupid, crazy ideas you've had with a few people. It's so cool to see. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Daniel actually did the music for the trailer as well, which is really cool.
I was going to ask where that music comes from. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, the last couple, I think that one and the one we did for October as well. So we just get free music basically. No, I'll charge you back. It's another part of kind of what we do with a lot of that, keeping it in house. A lot of the stuff we pull together and everything, and oftentimes it's just like you're like, oh, we just need something that sounds a bit like this, and then I'll just spend like a few evenings or a weekend pulling together something where I think my main aim is just to have like a ginormous kick drum and enough bass to kind of kill everyone's speakers, which usually is roughly where we land in the middle somewhere. So it's pretty cool.
I was going to comment on the bass. It sounds really good in headphones too, man.
It's really great.
Lloyd loves bass. Lloyd loves bass. That's how Lloyd's life is.
I don't know about that, but
one thing I've wondered, when we're talking about kind of trailing back to digital media and disc, when you acquire these movies for distributions, are there different sort of contracts that are needed for distribution through a digital service as opposed to a disc, or is it all rolled into one?
It depends, really. It can be any number of approaches. I mean, it's like if there's if there's the ability to take it for digital, we absolutely will, nearly every time. That it's a shame when we can't, but then at the same time as the flip happens. So there'll be some stuff we've got on Blu-ray we don't have digital, and then there'll be some stuff on digital we don't have on Blu-ray, which will start to happen a bit more as the months go on. And that's, look, it's a very competitive landscape out there, and we all know that. But I think it's we try to do the best with what we have, and I think you'll find a lot of the films we have on are very much kind of as often as we can try and do the multi release across everything, across all the different ways that you can watch a film. We'll try and do that. Like, if the cinemas were up and running as well, we'd be doing those. We've done releases where we've been able to just do that kind of multi-platform approach, which is a horribly corporate term, but it's something we do really well at. So yeah, it's great.
So El Duce tapes, is that coming out November 2nd?
Yeah, tomorrow.
So that's out tomorrow. And also tomorrow we're releasing it on VHS with Broke Horror Fan and Witter Entertainment. So that's going to be up for pre-order tomorrow as well. We're only doing 50 copies, so super limited, but that's going to be exciting. And then we'll have the Blu-ray release as well, and maybe something else coming next year, which is really exciting.
Oh, cool. So is this going to be at the Arrow streaming site too, or is it just physical?
Yeah, it's our streaming site does it tomorrow. So that will come up tomorrow on there. And then the VHS version pre-order tomorrow, and then Blu-ray version will be at some point in the future.
We're looking at February at the moment.
Okay,
that's great.
That's one thing I've always loved about the way you guys approach streaming is, sometimes you guys drop stuff on streaming, like we've seen with El Duce tapes before you do disc. And majority of companies, it's the opposite. They'll bring out disc and then wait a year and then put it on streaming. So yeah, I love that approach.
But I think that's quite the cool thing, right? I mean, it's we, again, going back to that conversation of these things not really competing with each other, at Arrow. It's there's no set way of doing this. It all comes down to the film. Like you present the film to the team, and we're all involved in various ways, and a conversation happens of what's the best way of doing this. It's really that simple. If there's an absolute reason to do something kind of first on Blu-ray, then absolutely we'll do it. And I think oftentimes it's about yes, you're managing release schedules and all that boring stuff, but it's also just you get a good feel for it. And we did that with Gamera earlier this year, and that was awesome. We managed to launch that on the other version of the service, the older version of the service, back in July. And that was 6 weeks before the big Blu-ray release. But it's just a really cool thing. I think when you start limiting yourself to these windows of you release it here, but then you have to wait this long for this and then this long for this, it's just stupid. For us, if we can release everything as soon as possible, we will. And I think it's just trying to fit it into the right time. That's all.
Yeah, and that's very beneficial to the fans as well, because it makes it so simple. You can watch it that way, and that's what fans want, and I think so that's probably what you're doing is responding to what a true fan would really like to see.
We hope so. We're doing that right, Lou?
That is the truth. I think you guys are. So, El Duce tapes. I think we have a trailer for El Duce tapes. We can roll that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For all of our people.
All right. Let's roll that. Here we go.
Whatever it takes for entertainment.
How do you describe Mentor's music? What is it to you?
Male chauvinism rocks.
And he was like running around the bus going into people's face with this pee balloon.
It's as easy as that.
I mean, he's successful because he gets reaction. It's like there's a need for that in society.
El Duce had a lot of weird aspects to his personality.
But
What's that like, not having a home?
Makes me want to drink more. I think I'd make the first greatest dictator that this country has ever had. I'm American all the way.
So, there's a
he kind of looks like me. He kind of looks like me. Is that a movie about me? Is this a secret movie about my life?
I don't know you that well, but I really hope not.
I hope not either, but I was wondering. I don't trust Lou. Lou's been known to do some things.
I've known you for a while. I've been taking notes.
Yeah,
I know.
What's up with the picture with Lars Ulrich?
Well, he used to hang out with a lot of those LA bands. I think it was just like people quite loved the way that they could just thrive off the controversy. I think so. Yeah, I think there's because there's the whole story with him around that he alleges being paid $50,000 to kill Kurt Cobain by Courtney Love. So it's like it's the first time I knew of him was off the Nick Broomfield doc. So it's like him kind of coming back into this documentary as well and learning a lot more about him from this just insane footage of this guy that's just recorded like hours and hours of just old VHS camcorder for like a long time, just following this band and this guy and learning more about him, and it's just crazy. Like, yeah, really cool.
It looks
so.
Really
did somebody
cool.
just find a whole bunch of his footage and just sort of put it together and make a movie out of it? Is that what they did?
So what happened, there was a guy called Ryan Sexton who the first time he met El Duce, they found him kind of passed out in a bush. So he's kind of on the same scene. So he decided to just kind of follow him around because he's just such a strange and kind of charismatic guy, and just he followed him around for about 2 years. And then, as you'll see in the documentary, it all kind of goes a bit pear-shaped. It all goes a bit wrong, and then he just kind of put that footage away, didn't really think about it. And then 30 years later, they uncover all this footage. So he's speaking with the guys, Tim, who's one of the producers, and he brings it on to Rodney and David, the directors, and they just go through all of this footage, and they're just like, there's a really interesting story here. And they've just gone through hours upon hours of all of this camcorder footage that's never seen the light of day before. It was just put away in some boxes, and yeah, they've just kind of created this really fascinating yet harrowing tale of a guy who's really kind of just struggling with his inner demons. And yeah, I absolutely adore the film. I think it's fantastic, and it's not just about kind of the mentors and about the shock factor. It's just about a guy who's really struggling with kind of addiction.
That's so crazy. Am I having a stroke, or did Louise and Daniel change positions?
We did. Lou just kind of. I think she's just trying to start like our own version of host. Do you know what I mean? I think she's just like off those Halloween vibes, and she's just trying to kind of like mess with the system a little bit. Like,
my God, I was so confused. I was so confused. I looked down and I was like,
no, I don't.
I was just like, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. We lost you, and what happens is automatically Daniel moved over when you dropped out, and then you came back and popped back up.
Okay, chairs. We're all going to go for the number one position.
Yeah,
watch out, Charles will be kicked out next.
Oh man, Lloyd's been trying to kick me out for years, and it hasn't worked yet. So
it's impossible. Right. You can't get rid of him.
Yeah, I know. I'm like some sort of weird venereal disease. I just keep coming back.
So we've got El Duce tapes. It's going to hit. We should let everybody know that possibly doesn't know yet. You're at arrow-player.com. Is that correct?
That's right. And you can also find us on Roku. You can find us on Fire TV. You can find us on Android, iOS, Apple TV. Very shortly, we'll be going on to Android TV as well, which is something that, my God, did we get requests for that? I got inundated with just people just like, yeah, that's great that you've just created this thing out that you've not had and been working on for years, and it's now available across all these different devices, but where's Android TV? And it's like, just give us a minute, man. So that's coming soon as well.
Well, that's what
The
I have
streaming
is
people
Android TV. My whole system at home is all set up on Android TV. I mean, I even watch regular TV through that. So,
See, it was
Great.
Loyd. It was Loyd under loads of
It was
pseudonyms just
Loyd.
emailing you.
I
tell you guys,
created
the
so many
streaming
fake
people-
accounts so that I could email you guys and get
It's like,
this
what is
Android
going on
TV
here?
thing going.
These people really
That's
want that
something
Android
about
TV.
Loyd.
And something about streaming people is they all have their service, and you can't get them to move at
Nah.
all. They don't care what you do.
It's best to just go there. Like, I think that was the thing with this, with when we were building this, was just like, you know, we'd been on Apple TV, which, you know, not everyone, you know, is the biggest of fan of Apple devices and everything they do, even though, you know, we've worked with them for years and it's great stuff, really good quality. You know, we're also aware that, you know, everyone's got their own ways of doing things. And that's the whole point of, you know, what we got into here. You know, the fact that you can do and have this, you know, great service that we can just throw at everybody wherever they are. And hopefully, we'll be adding hopefully more platforms and stuff in the future as well. So we're not stopping yet.
Is the Android app, can you Chromecast that?
Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Very
So
good.
Android TV people shouldn't have a problem. I mean, if you can Chromecast it, then there you go.
Everyone's got a problem, man. Everyone's got a problem with something, right? And
Everybody does.
It's there was a guy. I don't mind mentioning this. There was a guy that dropped me a line or dropped the Arrow social Twitter accounts a line yesterday, because we just did the Shocktober 31 on the service, which is a new, in a sense, we're highlighting a new film every day for the 31 days of October. And it's just a list of films we all kind of agreed on that we thought could represent, you know, our own kind of version of Halloween. And it came to like the final two films, and, you know, that was Ringu and Reanimator with the final two. Now, that wasn't saying those are the ultimate Halloween films. It was just that's where those films came. And some guy dropped us a line to say, he's like, look, you know, great choices on Ringu and Reanimator, but on the 12th and the 17th of October, you did Ringu 2 and Bride of Reanimator. So I don't know who's curating your service here. And it was like,
Come on, people.
I was like, man, I got to pick
not
these
in
things
order.
apart. No, it's this thing of just like, you can actually go and watch Ringu. It's on the service. It's not like we're launching it on those days. So, but
How
that's
dare
it,
you,
people.
Daniel? Look what
I know,
you did
right?
to people.
It's unbelievable. How dare I? But no, it is that thing. People have their particular ways of doing things, and you know, we'll try and facilitate that.
Well, that's
Well,
great, because I know
coming-
a lot of people, there's a lot of distributors out there that get a lot of grief for, you know, little crazy things, you know, like, oh,
Yeah.
this box is a little bit different than that box, and, you know, your
I'm sure
numbers
they get
are
that.
off.
I'm sure
and-
Arrow gets that a lot.
No, I don't think we've ever. I don't.
Why is your box half a centimeter off of what it should be?
No,
You're like, oh,
we don't. I don't think that's ever happened for us. I think it's. I think everyone's been absolutely happy with everything we've released,
Everything.
and how we've released it. Everything. I think nothing but positivity, right, Lou? It's just positive feedback.
Oh, it's always a dream.
yeah.
Well,
They
I
just
think
have
I
Lou call them
found
directly. Lou
I
just
think
calls
I've-
them and talks to them.
Yeah, I think I found where all of the OCD people are, and they're in the horror Blu-ray community.
Yeah, they are. We've seen that. So, talking about November 2nd, something else coming to the channel November 2nd is fun. He
Yeah.
came from the Swamp series.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about that, because I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it's a Ewan production, right? It's you know, I think that's the thing for us is it's stuff like this. You know, we did this with the H.G. Lewis films in October. You know, where you know we're not doing it as much for this release, but for like the H.G. Lewis films, being able to put what was pretty much the digital version of the Feast box set. So you've got like, you know, all the films, you've got about 28, 29 other pieces of like documentary and visual essays and things as well. So, you know, kind of bring that there. And I think to follow it up with the Grafé stuff is just great. Like I was watching watching yesterday through the films, and, you know, obviously just drop Ewan a line just to kind of say to him around Mako, and just saying the first 5 minutes, the music in that film is just incredible. Like it's the one thing I would say, and I know Ewan is very well known in the community, and I think one of the things that I absolutely love about Ewan is, we talked about these films like a long time ago, and he'll just kind of go, hey man, do you know these films? And I'll be like, never heard of them. And he'll go, here's all the reason why you should watch these films. And he'll just talk to me for like 20 minutes. And by the end of it, I'm like, I need to see every single one of these films right now. And so, having all those up tomorrow is going to be really, really cool. And the documentary as well.
Now, who's this Ewan guy that you're talking about?
You know him, Lloyd. Every
hangs
time
around Frightmare, eats loads of barbecue.
Yeah.
Every time he comes on our show, all we get is people asking why he's so beautiful. That's what happens every time he comes on. That's why he's not allowed back on the show.
That's what we ask him all the time as well. All the time.
Why are you so beautiful, Ewan?
Mm-hmm. So William Griffey though is great series, and I'm glad that came out for one, but also great that it's coming on streaming because, like you said, he is a king of the exploitation field, but a lot of people don't know who he is or know his movies. And I've turned a lot of people on to those movies, and it's really great to see it come out for more people because the stuff like you mentioned, Naked Zoo and Whiskey Mountain and all that stuff is so crazy. And people are always like, I don't even know what that is. But Mako is crazy. You mentioned Mako, and I'm like, yeah, Mako's.
It's just such a, like, when someone threw me the pitch of that film, and it was Ewan just telling me the concept of that film, I'm just like, that's just great. Like it sells itself to me, because I think the important thing with films like that, and that's the same thing like with the El Duce tapes. It's we've just gone from October, which is super horror crazy, and we know we've got to put up a fight for Halloween, but it's just like, that's the cool thing with what we do is we don't have to, in quotation marks, limit it to horror. These films are, from, exploitation cinema, it's from Westerns, it's from kind of sci-fi, there's a lot of kind of areas we can go into, but it all kind of makes sense in this kind of bubble, as you were just saying. It's great that these kind of films are getting the light to kind of be presented in all these different ways as well.
Very true. So I think that we did have a trailer for one of the films, Sting of Death.
Yep.
Which we can roll that because that's a good intro one. If you guys aren't familiar with Griffey, you can start with that one. There's a lot you can work up to.
Law enforcement agencies all over South Florida have been alerted to look for some fishermen who have mysteriously disappeared over the past 5 days.
What are those things in the tanks? Some people call them jellyfish. Never seen them before.
It looks like a Portuguese man of war, but it's impossible. It's too big.
I tried to tell you it is possible, Doctor, for them to get that big.
This is a jack joint right now.
Well, you got a jello, or you're not in it, fella. When you can jello and do the jello.
I think I'll cool off in the pool.
It isn't hard to do. Don't know the way that I'll show you how.
What was that?
What was what?
Sound like a scream.
Do the jelly trick. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Neil Sedaka. That is fantastic.
I really want us to have an intro for the show that looks just like that trailer. Like, can we do a shot-for-shot remake of that trailer of us? That would be great.
Please do.
That movie has
Dancing
great
skills.
Dialogue.
Maybe that trailer is.
Man?
Yeah, Lloyd's always going to be the jellyfish man, though. That's Lloyd. I'm the girl in the shower. That's how I live my life.
I think you need to put out the soundtrack with all the Neil Sedaka hits.
Oh man, we'd love
That'd
to.
be amazing.
He has a song called "Do the Jellyfish" in that movie, so I remember that. This is just an example of some of those Griffey movies. If you guys haven't seen them, really, you should be signing up because these are so great to watch.
Just get in there, get yourself a delightful 30-day free trial and just watch those films. It's just fantastic. Like it's and the artwork on those titles as well. Like it just looks so good. It really does. It's it's a great selection of films.
Is this Neil Graffet? I mean, William Graffet. I'm thinking of Neil Sedaka still.
It's the same person, Lloyd. It's the same person.
Is that the Terror from the Swamp? What titles are we talking about here? I can't remember.
It's the Psychedelic Priest, Whiskey Mountain, Mako Jaws of Death, Naked Zoo, Death Curse of Tartu. Hooked Generation. Yeah, that was it.
Generation.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And then we've got and Sting of Death, but we've also got the documentary as well. So we've got the documentary all about him, which is again the perfect way to get into those films. And again, to just talking about the presentation of these films is, you know, you can watch these things about the filmmakers, about the genres that are going on, you know, particularly around, you know, sometimes just around a scene, you know, just around kind of like the locations and things that these places are filmed. And I think that's a great way of, you know, learning more about the filmmaker before you watch the rest of the films as well.
Yeah. So all of these are going on the Arrow streaming service November 2nd?
Tomorrow, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So
That's
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Overload. Arrow Overload tomorrow.
And then the Blu-ray, that's in a few weeks, right?
Yeah, end of the month. So I think it's the 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd.
So yeah.
I've been waiting for it. Don't worry. The 23rd.
Yeah.
Super excited
Mark
because
up the calendar.
That set is incredible. Get that as well. Get that.
Yeah, the set. I mean, really though, if you guys, they are hitting the streaming, but these movies are great. You'll probably want the set for multiple reasons, but if you haven't seen the set, you should go look at it because there's such beautiful artwork on those discs. It's insane. It's so great.
Is this coming in a special box of any sort? I know sometimes you guys do the oversized boxes.
It won't be the same size as the cereal box for H.G. Lewis. It's going to be one of the smaller ones, but it's still going to look really nice.
Okay.
It's a 4-disc
it won't
set,
kill
right?
you if you drop it.
Yeah. That's another one too, though. If you guys haven't seen, is Arrow just did a re-release of the Feast box set, which is something you need to, because there's a lot of those Herschel Gordon films you can't get unless you get the set. So,
or it's on Arrow.
That.
It's on Arrow as well.
Or you can join Arrow-Player, 30 days free trial.
But
that's why it's good we talk about the streaming service, because like you said, it's not a fight against each other. You have people who are disc lovers, and you have people nowadays who are streaming people, and they don't buy a lot of discs. So it really is two separate cultures.
And there's those in the middle as well. Like that, there's people that do absolutely both of those things. And you know, it's always kind of strange to me. I mean, like I many years ago used to work at Disney, of all places, and where I am now. But it's like, that's the industry, man. Like the industry kind of pitches everyone, you know, because they kind of force everybody down this road of like, okay, don't buy DVDs anymore, buy Blu-rays. Don't buy Blu-rays anymore, get, you know, rent and buy. And then, do you know what I mean? Then go and stream this, and then go and it's like the problem really is that the industry never took the time to just kind of, I guess, take a moment to realize that the actual way to do it is to use all of those different ways. Don't do one over the other. Like there's a way of making a use with that. And I think that there's so many businesses that have just, you know, pretty much just walked away from physical, which, you know, when I first started at Arrow, like you got to remember, like I'm the digital guy at the company. And like I walked in like, what, like physical, what that's, and it's, the more you learn about all of these different ways, and I hope in some way, shape or form, at least maybe one or two people at Arrow have learned from me, but it's like, it's less about, you know, well, this thing's better than this thing. It's, you know, it's your own personal choice, but at the same time, you shouldn't, you know, cut off the idea of doing something. Like to me, I think the one way I always see it is, what I'd really love is somebody who is just a digital streaming kind of person that finds our service, watches our films, learns more about what we do, and then goes, man, that Gamera box set looks really cool. Or man, that H.G. Lewis Feast box set looks really cool. And I've never really bought and that's the cool thing, you know, it's a kind of a gateway for other people to kind of interact with all these things we do. It's not about, giving people these kind of closed garden things where you sit there and enjoy this thing and don't do this thing over here. It's a real freedom in a lot of sense for us to kind of work that way.
Yeah, and then there's also a segment of people out there that they are desk buyers, but they want to test the movie out first. So you can do that. You can go to Arrow and watch the film and then go, yeah, I really dig this. I'm buying that set. And I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
That's a great
I've
idea.
done that before with things when you're like, there's an amazing box set, but it's expensive and you've never heard of the films, but you know you're going to dig it. And just watching 20 minutes of one of the films will just kind of sell you. You'd be like, yeah, I can spend $200 on that box set and not feel bad now. Like it's a great tool to have.
It is. Well, you guys are innovative.
Your guys' marketing is so good. Yeah, you guys' marketing is so good. How you drop stuff sometimes on streaming first, because like we're saying, there may be some movies coming out that people are like, I don't know what that is, but as soon as they see it, they're gonna be like, all right, Arrow's got me. I'm coming for you.
I think this is the thing as well, the limited editions. Sometimes they do just sell out so quick, especially with kind of the new titles. So having them available on streaming first and giving people the opportunity to see them, and then they can be ready when it comes on Blu-ray. We've had so many emails before where people were like, if I would have known that film was great, I would have brought the box set, but because it launched on Blu-ray first, I didn't know of it. I didn't want to take the risk. So it works for us, and people seem to be enjoying the choice. So yeah, we'll carry on.
Please do.
Perfect. So we've talked about Grafay. We need to talk about Ban This Sick Filth collection.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm most excited about in some of the movies in Ban This Sick Filth.
Yeah,
is one of my favorite directors who's in here, and that is Taro Ishii. Taro Ishii is one of my favorite directors of all time, and another one that people don't know a lot of the films. So I'm really happy that a lot of these are dropping.
Yeah. So it says it's a rotating collection throughout the whole of November, highlighting some of the most controversial films ever made, including We Are the Flesh, Orgies of Edo, The Baby, The Woman, and Bat
Pussy. Bat Pussy.
Thank you. I didn't know if I could say that.
No, we're saying it because
just saying it. It's a film title. It's absolutely
everybody
fine.
So you can say that.
Bat Pussy in their life. Everybody needs it in their life. All right.
Hell yeah.
I've heard of this. So there's now Bat Pussy is an AGFA thing, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, we've partnered up with them, so it's this is a key thing for us, man. It's like when all this happened, I hope the AGFA guys don't mind me telling the story, but when everything kind of went down, for the pandemic, kind of early this year, came kind of March, April, and we've worked with the AGFA team in some way, shape, or form, and obviously the Draft House team and everybody in some way, shape, or form across the company. And all this is going down, and then I was just catching up on Twitter about what was going on with Alamo and so much of the stuff with the the cinemas and theaters and things, and it was this time period for like the first few weeks while this is all happening across the world, and people were just kind of calling people. Like it was kind of crazy for my part of the business. It was just like, and I just got on the phone, with someone at AGFA, and I was like, hey, what can we do? Because, what can we do to help out here? Like, you guys have got all these great films, and, we've spoken about, trying to kind of do something together. Like, what is it we can do? And it was just this thing of just, it's going to sound really horribly, cynical to say this. I don't think anyone's going to believe me when I say this, but there's a commercial business thing attached to all of this. But the cool thing that we're trying to do, and I think it's really important to talk about, is it's like a lot of this stuff is really about kind of, collaborating and finding kind of, cool people to work with. And, the AGFA guys have got some just insanely good films that are, unfortunately, when you look at the wider, just digital, platforms like, Amazon and Apple, they don't want that kind of content because of what it contains. And you're, missing a giant part of like, American movie history there. And just because it's genre, it doesn't mean it's not part of that story. And so it's kind of cool to get in touch with someone like that and just go, hey, what do we do? And it just kind of then came, back and forth, emails, phone calls, and managed to kind of acquire a load of titles from them with the basis that we curate them with AGFA. And so this isn't us just kind of taking control and taking their films and throwing it on our service and just leaving and forgetting about it. This is us working with the AGFA guys. This is us working with the team there. They're curating a season for us in mid-November as well. We've got all these great video pieces that we can add that accomplish, that are kind of accompaniments to the films. And that is such a cool thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a, it's about kind of just finding this really cool middle ground where, yes, you want to hear it from a horribly, corporate term. It's these brands merging together. But out from that, it's just a bunch of cool people that have some really cool films and a way of getting those films out there. And I think that was such a big part of getting this season together with AGFA as part of this, Ban This Sick Filth promotion. And I think, Lou knows way more about them, these films. She's like nearly lost her mind when she realized we were going to be putting them out.
It's amazing.
Very excited.
AGFA is, and being from this area, we know AGFA, especially a lot of the film people know AGFA.
Of course.
I mean, if people watching don't know AGFA, AGFA is basically a company out of Austin that has rescued literally movies from the trash.
Yeah.
And it's thousands of 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter prints that people try to get rid of. And they're the ones, they're not for profit. And I've donated to them a lot. They do take, donations because they're housing and keeping all these films so we can actually see it. And, with the theaters being closed, there was a while where Alamo Drafthouse would do mystery AGFA movies. Once a month, you'd go and you'd watch a 35 millimeter print. And that was a lot of fun, but this is a great way for people to be introduced to a lot of these movies. So yeah, hats off for partnering with them.
Yeah. How did that come about? Because weren't they self-releasing for a while there?
I think they're doing some stuff across like various platforms. I think, I know that they've got their own kind of like rental platform, like digital rental platform as well. So, we've got some of our titles on that platform. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how this crazy new world works, that we can kind of, we can have some of their films on our thing. They can have some of our films on their thing. And, it's again, I think it's so it doesn't get said enough that this kind of thing happens, or at least I don't think people talk about it enough, that you can have two companies that are, if in any kind of other bigger world, if we were a Disney or a Warner, it's competition. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no collaboration there. So to kind of have two companies that operate in this space, and we absolutely, we work with every part of that company and just in turn with us now as well. And I think the more you can kind of have that really cool collaborative relationship, everyone wins, right? I mean, it's not kind of rocket science. It's like we all get to kind of enjoy these really cool films in all these different ways. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. You'll never see Marvel and DC do a crossover, right?
I don't know.
That's really good though. I mean, I love your guys' attitudes towards collaboration, because I think that's what ruins a lot of stuff, is people start trying to fight with each other to bring stuff out. And it's like, everybody should collaborate to bring out the best sort of releases. And I know, like Loyd was saying, AGFA is one of those people that have just tried everything they can to get a lot of these movies released and have always had struggles. So it's really good to see some of these dropped.
Yeah, they're going to be great additions to the catalog, right, Lee?
Exactly. And especially things like, obviously, Back Pussy is hardcore porn. So you're not going to be getting that on Apple. You're not going to be getting it on Google or Android. So us having our own streaming service and being able to show this in the US anyway, unfortunately, we can't have it on our UK service, is really something cool for us, because it's a great film. I remember when it first came out, I was kind of going around the office telling everyone they should watch it, not mentioning that it was porn.
Oh yeah, don't.
Thanks
Thanks
for that, Lou. Yeah, that was definitely wasn't an awkward viewing of that when I was at home. Thanks, Lou.
I don't know. Now I've started warning people. Now
you have to say,
now it comes
you have to watch this long lost Batman movie. You have to watch it. And like, okay, here it is.
Yeah. It's
like,
like,
that's what I led with.
It's like, it's like this. It's like people searching for the Snyder Cut. You know, you can kind of be like, oh, this was Nolan's kind of secret prequel. Have you not seen it? Oh man, it's really
it's amazing.
Like,
let's watch it.
Typical Nolan thing. Just sign up and just press play with the whole, again, on a Sunday with all your family. You know, perfect kind of view. And Thanksgiving, it would be really good for a Thanksgiving view.
Thanksgiving is perfect. I mean, grandma, grandpa, everybody's gonna be like, all right, guys, we're watching a feel-good family superhero film.
If nothing else, it's a good way to get family out of your house that you didn't want there in the first place.
we tried having that tagline on the service, but it was just too long. You know? Get your family out of your house.
Yeah,
it should just be playing in everybody's house. Like when you go in somebody's house, it should just be playing. I would be so excited if I walked into somebody's house and they just had Bat Pussy playing. I'd be like, well, obviously this is where I need to be. This is a great day.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the you know, that's what's so great about it. Like, I think on the surface, if you want to see Bat Pussy, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? It's a great film, you know. And I think the crazy thing about it, again, it's just talking about, you know, that large part of the business that we do. You know, it's the same mentality in a way that, you know, just in the same way that, you know, we pull up the Griffey films and you know, restore them and take the time to kind of present them and bring them back into the world. You know, it's the same thing. You know, Bat Pussy for what it is and what it represents of the time it was made, and you know, all the stories around that release and then even more on top of that, like just think of the state of the world right now. I think that's do you know what? It's crazy as the weeks have gone by. We've had this season planned, this sixth season planned for November for a while. And it's kind of, in no way was it to tie into anything to do with elections. And I'm sorry to mention it. I'm sure everyone's going to hate me for mentioning it, but it's kind of like this season is just like, it's such an insane kind of time to release something like this. So I'd see it as the great escapism of these incredible over the top and wonderful weird films.
Absolutely.
I think that Bat Pussy is the movie that could bring the world together and end COVID. Really do. That's the movie, because it'll keep everybody in their house. Nobody's going to want to go out. They're just going to want to sit all day and watch Bat Pussy, and it's going to fix everything. So you guys are just slowly fixing the world.
I can tell you right now that I think the word Bat Pussy probably hasn't been said any more times than in this show today anywhere in the world. I think even when they were probably filming the film, the word Bat Pussy probably wasn't as mentioned as many times as Bat Pussy is being mentioned.
I'm getting it tattooed across my back. That way everybody has to see it every time.
It's great. Oh man, that's great. I'm looking forward to people watching it.
But look, guys, it is though. Bat Pussy is a weird movie, but it is a strange movie that there's not. It's one of those mysterious movies. People kind of don't know a lot about where it came from or why it exists. It was just sort of found. It was sort of found, and people were like, well, this is a movie that I think it was found in Tennessee or something, and people were like, well, this is a movie that exists. let's do this. So
well, we have a special surprise for everybody. We're gonna stream Bat Pussy right now on our channel. So
get the kids.
Here we go, everybody.
With live commentary from Daniel and Lou. Live commentary. Go ahead.
It's a watch along for everybody. That's what we'll do.
We've actually turned it into.
I really enjoyed it. I think it's
great.
Well, the other surprise is Loyd and I turned it into a musical, so we're gonna sing all the way through. So I hope you're ready.
Amazing.
Animated, right?
Right,
animated,
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, what we do have from AGFA is the Zodiac killer trailer. So I'm very familiar with this film. I remember seeing this back in the Something Weird days. I believe they originally released it. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Keel here. Tonight we have more news on the Zodiac killer.
Hey, fellas, hold it down. I want to hear this.
He writes another letter to the papers. And I quote, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I am the murderer of the taxi driver over on Washington and Maple Street. They could have caught me last night if they had searched the park properly instead of holding road races with their squad cars."
still loose, aren't I?
Oh, he's got him.
There we go. Safe
You
and
all
sound.
right? What do you say to the nice man? Say thank you. I don't like him.
Okay, couple of things that I want to mention here. First off, I just want to say bat pussy again. Second, second, the guy that with the mustache that was being attacked at the lake.
That's Loyd.
No, I
That's
think
Loyd
that's
Carr.
I think that's Borat. That looks like Borat to
Borat.
me. And third, I love that
Bat pussy.
kid. That kid has spirit, man. I don't like that guy.
I don't like him. But yeah, this is part of the AGFA, and there's a couple other ones on here. The Ed Wood sexploitation film, Take It Out and Trade. That's a fun one. And Lady Street Fighter, which you need Lady Street Fighter. That's a good double feature. Bat Pussy and Lady Street Fighter. You just need to watch both those together.
And we've actually got the sister Street Fighter films going tomorrow as well. So
thank you.
Yeah, you should. It's kind of crazy when you're trying to kind of list down like everything we've got coming up. It's like you kind of forget. Oh, by the way, we've got these coming as well. And it's So the sister Street Fighter films, and you just reminded me when you mentioned Lady Street Fighter. So yeah,
man,
Well-
Sister Street Fighter's great. Like Fifth
it's
Level
awesome.
Fist. I love those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's great. I love AGFA because they're saving films that otherwise would have probably been lost forever eventually.
Yeah.
And for you guys to get involved too, you've taken it to another level. It's definitely international now. Are these going to be released in the UK as well?
Sadly not. It's just on the US service, but
Just
you
US.
can AGFA are working with Vinegar Syndrome now to release some of the new Blu-rays. So if you check on the Vinegar Syndrome website, they've got a few new ones, and I think they've got a couple coming for Black Friday, which I'm really excited to see what those are going to be. So yeah, keep an eye on those.
Awesome.
We may be able to launch them in the UK next year,
Mhm.
but it's at the moment, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Not
well,
that pussy though. Sadly.
keep working on it.
Sure.
It's definitely a worthy cause because, like I said, some of these films would probably be forgotten forever if it wasn't for AGFA, and you guys are championing them now. So that's fantastic. Congratulations on that one.
Look, people in UK, I'm not telling you to go get a VPN. Don't do that. Don't get a VPN because that's a bad thing to do.
We absolutely do not do that.
Do not do that whatsoever. 'Cause I know what you guys were thinking when they were talking about this. Do not do it.
Just
negative.
Just for the potential court case later on. Do not use a VPN.
Do not. It's not worth it. All right.
Absolutely not.
It's not worth
Not
it.
under any circumstances.
So we talked. You briefly mentioned, Charles, the AGFA titles. And I see a note about AGFA selects. What is that talking about?
Yeah, so the team at AGFA, they basically looked through the whole of our catalogue that we've got on the service, and they picked 20 of their favourite films, which is really cool. So they've kind of done a curated list of the titles that they think you should see on Arrow, which is really exciting. So they've got obviously a couple of AGFA titles in there, but they've got some really other cool stuff that they've selected. So they've got kind of a few Japanese films, a few Italian films. So there's a really nice mix of some really cool curios, which will hopefully encourage some people to kind of try something new. Like they've got Pit Stop on there, which is one of my favorite films that we've released, the Jack Hill film, which is definitely very underseen and more people need to see it. So hopefully, yeah, people will get some ideas of things to add on their watch list.
Awesome.
Definitely. Jack Hill's another director that a lot of people aren't familiar with a lot of his work, especially the blaxploitation films he did. A lot of them have kind of got lost. So another good director to highlight.
So what else do we got, Charles? We got midnight movies, double and triple features.
Well, before we go to that, I just kind of wanted to point out to everybody. So they did briefly talk about Ban This Sick Filth, but the way they're bringing them out is really cool. So they're doing like curated sort of movies that go together, like different themes. So you guys got Rebel Yell, Effed Up Families, and Renegade Women. So that's a pretty cool way to do it.
It's what all I wanted for my my resume, is to have that collection of words together.
And bad pussy.
It's the thing of when you're kind of given the freedom to start doing things a bit differently, which is kind of what we've got with the service. It's trying to kind of come up with cool ideas that can kind of bring certain films together in a different way. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time on services. We all do it, where you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling forever and ever and ever. And I think when you see services like Criterion Channel, who've just done like an incredible job the last kind of year and a half in presenting films on a service really differently. And it's kind of having that mentality and that approach. And I think that's the cool thing with the Ban This Sick Filth kind of theme, which is this theme for the month, if you want to call it that. Like a lot of the releases kind of fit into that, and that's a conversation Lou, I and a few other people will kind of pull together. Julie and Alan, who are just incredible at putting us in the straight path a lot of the time on things. But it's a cool thing to have, where you've got like 4 people together that can kind of just talk about these kind of ideas. Like, what do these films kind of represent? How can we kind of talk about them a bit differently? And in the same way that we would release a Sartana collection, or we would release the H.G. Lewis films together. It's taken that same approach. And Ban This Sick Filth was this idea from a headline in the UK back in the 80s, when a lot of the these films were being banned. A lot of 80s films being banned because they were disruptive influence on our youth of today and all that. And every country had their version of that. And it's quite interesting when you look at films like like the AGFA titles, like the what we've broken down into the different sections, like Effed Up Families and Rebel Yell. Like, they're all representations of that same kind of thinking. It's controversial filmmaking, supposedly. So what does that mean? And I think going a bit deeper into those seasons, you can kind of learn a bit more about, certain types of film and how they're pulled together. And I think, you take a film like We Are the Flesh, which, to me is a film, we took this on a few years ago, and it's one of the first films I worked on at Arrow. And, this is some real, like, incredible filmmaking, but an incredibly tough watch. Like, it's a real tough watch to get through, but it's a phenomenal film. And I think that is one of those things where, on the surface, it's people outside of this community, people outside of genre or cult films. And, they see the surface level of what these films represent, which is the Bat Pussies of this world, which is the We Are the Fleshes of this world, where actually a little bit deeper, these films are really, really cool. So being able to kind of break that season out across the, the whole month is really cool. It's really great. Gives us a lot more depth to pulling some more titles in for sure.
Yeah, those would be cool box sets. Have you ever thought about doing box sets like that? Like Ban This Sick Filth box sets?
In case we do it, I'm going to say, yes, we did have that idea before you just said it.
Perfect.
But if we don't, then we didn't think of it.
No, we didn't think of it. Nothing ever happens. Well, I mean, at least you got Bat Pussy, so there's that. So,
Absolutely.
Is anybody counting the number of times we've said it? We should have like a little counter that keeps going up.
No, but I think there's a drinking game in here somewhere every time we say that. If you want to rewatch this, every time we say Bat Pussy, you can take a drink. There you go. Perfect.
Bat Pussy. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think one of my favorite series you have in here that has some of my favorite movies on it is the Renegade Women one. Is Blind Woman's Curse.
That's Lou's.
She's a renegade woman. She's a renegade woman.
Exactly.
But Blind Woman's Curse, I love. Season of the Witch, of course. She Devil on Wheels. Teenage Serial Killer. Those are such great movies. So good selection there.
Yeah, it's trying to get the mix as well. So you've got stuff like Teenage Serial Killer, which is really kind of DIY punk aesthetic, and then you've got your Miko Kaji films. So just kind of interpreting these themes in different ways, and just hopefully some people will discover some stuff that they aren't aware of or haven't thought of watching. So let us know if you do end up watching the seasons and what you liked.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's It's like you said, it's a great mixture, but also that you incorporate so many different genres kind of into the same thing. They're kind of similar, but at the same time, you're branching out a little bit into different variations of things. So it kind of introduces people to new, types of films that, like you're saying, they probably wouldn't have watched before, because some of them can be a hard sell. Nowadays there's so much content.
Well, you should try. Like, I spoke to a friend of mine. I was talking to him about obviously the launching of Arrow and what we'd done in October. So we had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is what's going on behind me here. And just we were just hitting hard with just great films and films that yes, maybe bring in a slightly more casual fan. And then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing in November?" I was like, "Let me tell you about our films in November." And it just he's just like, "What are you doing? Like, wait a minute, you're following up your big kind of October with Bat Pussy, what?" And it's
Pussy.
Sorry, hang on, let me just so yeah, I think it's no, it's a really cool. I think it's to us it's not a difference really, but that's the thing. It's quite a bold thing for us to do, but I think it's just representative of the kind of thing we want on the service. I think it's not if you're after just really cool, weird cult films, that's the point of the service, right? So it's kind of, again, whether they're really gory, whether they're again just really just bizarre, that's basically what the kind of the service is always going to do.
Yeah. We haven't played the Arrow teaser yet, have we?
I don't know. Did you, Lloyd?
I don't think we've played it yet.
Are you actually going to show Bat Pussy right now? Is that what you're going to do? I see you laughing.
I'm trying to sneak it in. No, but we do have the Arrow teaser. Let's play that, and then we can talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Is that your music as well?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
I like it.
Really cool. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else do we have here? We have talked about so much here, and my mind is just kind of swimming.
It's cult overload here. There's so much going on.
Yeah,
so we've talked about Bat Pussy a lot. Bat Pussy we went over many times.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got some Giallo stuff. We haven't even spoken about the Giallo stuff. We've got a Giallo section as well of 20 plus films, which is again, a whole side of, again, it's, it's really cool. It's something we've had a couple of comments from people over the years about, this kind of service is, some people that have heard of Giallo or have heard of, these kind of subgenres in this space, maybe they don't really want to say to people that they don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, Giallo, yeah. But it's I
like lemon Giallo myself. Lemon Giallo or cherry Giallo. It's my favorite.
But I think that's the cool thing with it. So that's in our essentials kind of little sections that we've got where it's really about having a bit of a starter pack for people. If you want to get into slashers, or you want to get into Giallo, or you want to get into comedy horrors or westerns or anything like that, we're pulling these little seasons together, which is kind of a jumping on point for people, or off point, whatever it might be. And I think that's a thing that I'd love to see a lot more on is you do get a lot of people who very much get quite boisterous about their knowledge on films, with just, well, you didn't know this, you're, how dare you, and it's, but I think that's the point that this service isn't about. Not to kind of mention a certain other streaming platform, but, I remember this certain other streaming platform, having a bit of a marketing campaign about a year and a bit ago where, the tone of it was so, snobby, it was like, if you don't know these films, this service isn't for you, that kind of approach.
No.
And I think I'm not going to mention who it is. I was really tempted to mention.
I know who you're talking about.
I know you do. So I can't.
I know who he's talking about too. Don't worry.
For legal reasons, I won't mention it. But I think that was always something that made no sense to me. Like, why would you not want to bring people in for the first time into these films? Like, and I think these essentials selections, it's all about getting down to basics in some ways. That, you know, maybe someone has heard of Argento, but they've never watched anything, or they watched the remake of Tenebrae, or a remake of Suspiria. And it's kind of getting into that space. And I think, you know, the selection of Giallo we've got is so cool. Like, that's what's so great, is it isn't just the big well-known films. It's you know, some real cool deep cuts in there that I think, you know, to anyone coming into that, you know, space for the first time, it's a really great way of learning a bit more about those kind of films.
That's why we love, you know, talking with you guys too, because that's kind of how we are on this show. Is, you know, we're here to educate people. So we'll run into people a lot of times who are like, oh, I don't know this director, I don't know this or that, and people know that it's not a big deal. We're like, oh, that's awesome, because now we can introduce you to them. It's not that we're going to be like, oh, why are you watching us? Get out of here, go away.
Yeah,
I love finding that though. I love finding people who say, oh, I know who Argento is, but I don't really know what he did or his movies. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Let's do it.
Yeah. And there's no need to be snobby. You've probably seen this commercial. That reminds me, when you said that, there's a commercial playing here now for some sort of new tequila, and they pretty much, they say the same thing. Have you seen that, Charles?
Yeah, they're like, the best, or if you don't like the best, this isn't for you, or something like that. I'm like,
it's crazy,
okay.
man. What a crazy message to say.
It's like an odd campaign. Yeah.
There's several meetings took place. People got paid a lot of money to come up with that. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it really is. But
I think the arrows, it should be Arrow Video, we've got bat pussy. That's all it should say. People will be like, all right.
That's our tweets for tomorrow.
Tweets for tomorrow. Hey guys, we got bat pussy. What do you mean? We got bat pussy.
What's crazy is we're not launching bat pussy for like another week. And is it next week, Lou? Yeah,
it's on the 13th. So we got some run up for bat
I'm just
pussy
saying,
coming.
Everyone's going to be coming out of this, going, oh my god, I need to see this thing, and they're going to have to wait 2 weeks for this thing now, right? So
it should be on your, like, when you first go into the streaming service, there should be a big thing that says it's coming, bat pussy, and it should have a number of days.
Do you know what?
Counting down.
It sounds crazy, but we are absolutely probably going to do that now. That's how, like, I can just do this right here, right now. So I may add that to my list. Bat
pussy. It's coming. 6 days. 5 days. Bat pussy. It's coming.
Just written that down. I mean, sorry, I came up with that idea before you mentioned it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you want me to put on a Batman helmet and you can put my face there like this, we'll be all right. Bat pussy. You need it. So yeah, lots of cool stuff coming. I think the last thing on here I saw was you guys are doing movie night double and triple features. So tell us a little bit about some of those.
Well, I think the cool thing for us, being able to kind of have like any double features right now, like I think we've seen this before, and it's something that I guess I'd really love to have seen a bit more on the functionality we were originally looking for. So the functionality we were originally looking for on the service was the ability to kind of play live. So be able to kind of have like, as if you're just watching, you know, regular TV, right? And I think being able to kind of put those together to kind of just say, oh, at 9 p.m., you know, on a Friday, the West Coast can watch these 2 or 3 films. So I think it was quite cool for us to be able to get to a point then where, from our perspective, getting double and triple features together has been like a really cool idea. You know, we did them over October with, like, you know, the 2 Hellraiser films and the Hills of Eyes films. And I think that's, you know, a really cool way of bringing films together. And I think the selection we've got in for this month is, again, starts to get into that idea, as what Lou was just saying, is, you know, some of these films were meant to be together. Some of them are just now combining up the films a little bit better. So you can maybe watch one thing you know and like, and then another thing that maybe you've not heard of. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that is.
I like this idea because I'm thinking about this may be fun for us to do, Loyd, like promote these on the channel and then watch them with our viewers. Be like, all right, guys, we're going to do a double feature. So join us.
That'd be adorable. Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. So what
I'll
else?
do
What
it.
else is going on? Like I said, we've talked about so much. We've got Blu-rays coming out. We've got a lot of stuff coming out tomorrow on the Arrow player on the streaming service, and it's just a huge selection. It's all over the place as far as what you have going on there. I'm super excited. I still need to subscribe. I have the Arrow channel
Way
on.
to fail, Lloyd.
Well, I have
fail, Lloyd.
I know. I've got the Arrow channel on Apple.
Yeah, man.
When I had, because that was the only way to get it at one point. So now I gotta try to get it on my Android now.
Yeah.
Well, I got it the first day because I never had Apple TV, so I was just upset all the time. I'd be like, fine, I guess they don't like me. I'm not going to watch anything.
Well, I was able to get, at one point that was on Fire TV. So I was able to get the Arrow channel on Fire TV. So, but it was through Apple. So, and I'm not an Apple person, but I had it anyway.
Yeah, this one's it's, as we said earlier, like you can get it from, the web browser, the Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, iOS, Android. And said Android TVs come in like a couple of weeks, I think, something like that. So they'll be coming pretty soon. But the great thing is it's the same service on all of these platforms. So you can just basically watch however you want now, which is what we've always wanted to do.
That's fantastic.
Perfect. And it's arrow-player.com, guys. I know I've said it a lot, but I'm gonna keep saying it till everybody subscries because it's awesome. So
everybody,
so it's Bat Pussy's coming. Bat Pussy is coming. Yeah. So
it's a 30-day free trial, and you know what? Because I'm gonna put my sales pitch hat on this weekend, just this weekend, and it will end later tonight. We're doing an offer which is basically like 50% off your first 3 months as well. So what you'll do is you can have a 30-day free trial. And then you can have an additional 50% off each month for the next 3 months as well. Wow. So that's there's a code on there. I'm sorry, Lou, you're going to hate me. I've completely forgotten what the code is that people can use. It's on the website. It's on the website.
Please tell me the code is Bat Pussy. That should be the code.
It should have been.
It should be the code.
Yeah.
That should be the code.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we've I think it's the Arroween one. I think it is actually.
I think it's Arroween, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to check.
Arroween.
And it's already
Arroween,
super.
It's on the website.
Yeah.
It's
Arroween offer.
Arroween offer. And it's already super affordable anyway, isn't it? It's like $5.99, right?
$4.99.
$4.99.
Even I mean, that's amazing.
Even better, right? It's great, right? It's there's a lot of and then and again we've got the year, it's $49.99. So you're basically getting it for you're getting kind of a 2 months free or something like that. So it's a pretty cool thing. But again, that's the point, right? Is just having some really cool offers. We can make this service work, and and do you know what? Not going to be giving any numbers away, of course, but just I think that's the great thing after all this work that we do in the background that no one ever sees to things like this. For people like Lou and myself and Julie and Alan and everyone at Arrow on working on something like this is, you kind of get up to like towards the launch date and you kind of, you start to go, man, is this thing going to work? Is anyone going to be interested in this thing? It's like, and
they are.
Even though you kind of know, like, do you know what I mean? You get that kind of weird, strange, kind of cold feet about it. So, but anyway, it just meant that, honestly, the amount of people that have come to kind of join us, and that's us. It's like this group of, it's not these customers and us, it's these group of people that really dig what we do, and that's been crazy. Like that to me, and I know Lou, you'll probably say exactly the same thing. It's just so cool, man. Like it's just really great because it's like, we know all of these platforms out there, all these services out there, like Shudder, Amazon, everyone, and you know what? We all use them, we all love them, and they're great for what they are. But the difference is we're an indie company. Do you know what I mean? Like we're an indie company, we're an independent company. We have got no board of directors, we've got no big corporate overlords giving us billions of dollars to kind of do this thing. We're an independent company launching an independent video service in the same way we do our Blu-rays, and that's a cool thing to do right now. Like to be this what is a small group of people based in kind of the southeast of England, most of us, and being able to kind of do something like this and then just see all these people kind of get on board and just kind of dig it. That's just great, man. Like it means, at least a few of those late nights and weekends have all been worth it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's got to be super gratifying, make you feel like, phew. That's how I feel every year at the convention when, people show up. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. People showed up. Thank you.
Yeah. People are actually here.
Yeah.
I think one of the last things I want to mention is I think today is the last day of your guys' Shocktober sale. Is that right? Is it today or tomorrow?
Yeah,
the
that
video
finishes tomorrow as well.
So that's a good way to pick up some of the actual discs. If you guys are looking for discs, the Shocktober sale is still running, US, UK, and you can pick up a lot of stuff.
And Canada.
And Canada. Don't forget about Canada. Mm-hmm. You can get the new Feast box set, which is this one. Oh yeah. That one is, I think when I looked, it was on sale for like $50 in the US, which is a steal for all these Herschel Gordon Lewis movies. So everybody pick that one up because you're going to be sad that you didn't. Then I'm going to laugh at you. So do it.
All right, guys, that's been fantastic. It's been great having you guys on again. Is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers before we go, or did we cover it all?
I think we covered everything, to be fair.
You don't want to get us to talk politically. Let's not do that.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me talk politically.
Let's just stick to bat pussy.
Let's just stick to bat pussy, everybody. Just remember, whatever happens on Tuesday, you still got Arrow and you still got bat pussy. We're not going
anywhere. Guys.
Exactly.
It's coming. Bat pussy.
Yeah. November 13th.
Exactly.
So Loyd and I are going to start working on a Bat Pussy sequel that we're going to make ourselves. So it's going to be called Bat Pussy 2. No, we already talked about this. It's Bat Pussy 2 in space. And I play an astronaut and Loyd plays an alien. But I'm astronaut Batman. So
no.
It's an interesting movie I'm working on. Loyd, you already agreed.
He's working on it by himself.
It won't work without you, Loyd.
What's that?
It won't work without you. You're integral to the plot.
Yeah.
You're very...
Buddy movie.
Look. Up until Bat Pussy 2, there has not been a space Batman movie, and I'm filling this void. So, all right?
Oh, you're filling some kind of void in that movie.
All right, guys. So that's our 49th time for Bat Pussy. 50 now. Sorry.
That's right.
That's what we're going for.
Everybody. There's comments saying Loyd was immediately out. Yeah, but if I hear my name in association with making a Bat Pussy sequel, I'm out. I can't do that.
Oh, it's fine.
I've seen little bits and pieces of that, and it's a crazy movie, man. I mean, it really is. Yeah. It's super crazy.
A lot of fun.
We're ready for it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're all ready.
Well, guys, it has been fantastic having you guys on again. It's always good to see the Arrow crew. Daniel, it was great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
Absolutely. We like you. You're a great guy.
You're okay.
You're good looking. Aww. You're good looking. Just like Ewan. But Ewan, the whole stream goes to hell because all the chicks just are like, "Oh my God,
I know
Ewan is so hot."
He's not invited anymore. We can't bring him back anymore.
He really doesn't need to hear that, please. He really doesn't need to hear that.
But we get that with Louise too because she's gorgeous in her own right.
We need to start selling Louise and Ewan t-shirts, Loyd. We need to start selling. We'll just take screen grabs from the stream and be like, "All right, guys, the Louise shirts, $56."
And they'll just have one word underneath. It'll just say "hot."
Hot. Well, we'll sell one with Daniel now too, but it'll just say "Bat Pussy" underneath it. It'll be a picture of Daniel going like this.
Not the sequel though, man. I have not signed up for that either.
Look,
I'm out as well. Lloyd's
that's
out.
That's me. All right. Look, I'm self-funding this one. I'm making it right now. I've got an old camcorder from the 90s, and I'm making it work.
I've got a thing to do. I got to,
I mean, I've got editing software. I could just digitally edit you in. Like every now and then, you'll just pop up and be like.
I think, but yeah.
Well, again, thanks for being coming on the show today. It's always, like I said, a pleasure to have Arrow on. You guys are great people beyond being a great company for all of our cult and horror needs. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
on.
you guys.
Thanks for
No
having
problem.
us.
Thank you
Lloyd.
very much.
Absolutely.
Be safe out there. I know you guys got the 30-day lockdown, so be safe. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Well.
And best of luck, America.
Oh God, no.
Please, we need all the luck in the world, guys.
Hey,
Just-
we'll be on the other side no matter what.
There we
I'm
go.
coming to move in with you, Daniel. Don't worry. I'm coming to move in with you.
You can't. We're on lockdown, man. We can't let anyone in.
Oh yeah, that's
Fine.
right.
Yeah.
He's
just wait
got an
outside.
excuse already. He's like, nope, sorry, Charles. We're
You
on
sound like
lockdown.
Lloyd.
I'm out,
Lloyd
man.
told me the same thing for years.
I'm out. He's just been messaging me on the Zoom call going, just say you're out.
Just say no. Yeah,
Just say
I
no.
just keep telling him, just whatever Charles says, just say no.
That's it. That's it.
I'm tired of you telling people that, Lloyd. That's all you ever tell people. I can't
I
ever get
know.
anything approved anymore.
So, I think on that note, I think we're going to sign out today, guys. Thank you all for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure. And thank you to everybody for watching.
Yeah,
Everybody
thank you,
have a
That was
great,
really fun.
have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
You
See you
too.
later.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.